had earlier been launched in Yaoundé, but this will be interrupted as Kamto has once more been placed under house arrest by state authorities. Earlier today, a number of policemen could be found dispatched outside the Valier des Princes Hotel, where the CRM President Maurice Kamto has been lodging, with the aim of escorting Kamto back to Yaoundé as he ends his stay in Dwala. The situation at press time is receiving widespread comments, notably that of a fellow political figure, Kawala Edith, leader of the Cameroon People's Party, CPP, who condemns the fact that Maurice Kamto has been held in Dwala against his will, insinuating a scenario of human rights violation by state authorities. And after his interrupted stay in Dwala, Professor Maurice Kamto of the Cameroon Renaissance Party is due to grant a press conference today in Yaoundé, 2 p.m. at the party's headquarters in Oja. Updates on his brief stay in Dwala have it that the CRM president finally left Dwala on Thursday at about 11:30 a.m. for Yaoundé under the tight escort of police and gendarmes. It should be recalled part of his mission to Dwala, besides visiting his 57 militants still in detention at the New Bell Central Prison, was also to launch his book, which has been interrupted. And on to something else, a heavy-duty truck transporting beer is said to have tumbled over, causing a head-on traffic during the later hours of yesterday, December 2nd, 2021, along the Betwa-Garwa-Bulai stretch of road. The accident was reportedly caused by one of the many potholes on the road. Fortunately, no human lives have been lost, but material damage is confirmed to be severe. Now let's talk something developmental, where the mayor of the Limbe 2 City Council has handed over some newly constructed modern classrooms to the basic educational sector of that municipality. Our Southwest correspondent Kuma Honore has the details of this report in this story.
Some newly constructed modern classrooms have been officially handed over to some 3 primary schools in Limbe 2 municipality. The classrooms were officially handed over by the Lord Mayor of Limbe 2 Council, Chief Daniel Ndive, while calling on the various head teachers of the beneficiary schools to jealously maintain and protect these modern classrooms for the purposes intended. According to the mayor, the project to construct classrooms to some schools in Limbe 2 is part of revenue from decentralized funds under the Ministry of Basic Education.
And why civil population will listen to their worries, and there has been persistent having complaints from the population and the school authority, the lack of classrooms and adequate materials for learning. And learning needs a conducive environment, so we have to pay attention to that direction. That is why we renovated some 5 classrooms at.
The project equally took into consideration the environment vis-a-vis climate change and the disabled children to have easy access to the classrooms. On behalf of the Basic Education family in Limbe 2, the Inspector of Basic Education said the gesture is timely as it will go a long way to solve infrastructural problems as well as facilitate the teaching and learning process of the pupils. She promised to put in place measures to protect these modern classrooms for posterity. The population of school children in Limbe 2 municipality has witnessed an increase as a result of influx of the number of pupils whose right to education have been violated in other areas of the crisis-stricken regions of Cameroon. The beneficiary schools includes Government Practicing School Batuke, which saw the construction and renovation of 5 classrooms, Government Nursery School Ngeme, which benefited 2 modern classrooms, 2 toilets for the kids, and staff room and the head teacher's office. Finally, Government Primary School Wovia, which saw the handing over of keys of 2 modern classrooms to the head teacher in the presence of the Wovia Village Traditional Council members.
In the same light, some local women in Idenau, southwest region of Cameroon, have benefited from the benevolence of the project team of Women in Action Against Gender-Based Violence in collaboration with the United Nations Women. The donation, which was recently done, also saw the launch of a 16-day activism against gender-based violence, as Joy Ngong completes the story in this report.
Some women in Idenau municipality have benefited from business inputs, cassava mills, and fish dryers to empower them economically. The beneficiaries, who are mostly survivors and victims of gender-based violence, were carefully selected by the project team of Women in Action Against Gender-Based Violence in partnership with United Nations Women as well as other partners. Addressing beneficiaries, the livelihood officer for WAC called on the women not to be afraid to point out cases of gender-based violence within their communities and report them to appropriate authorities.
There is also a protection committee which we have set up in the 5 different localities in the subdivision. Their job is to make sure that they handle cases of gender-based violence at their level and refer accordingly. Those other cases they cannot handle. And we have created some spaces, we call it safe spaces within the community, where victims of gender-based violence can actually run to and feel safe to talk, to express their mind and to seek solutions to their problems.
The handing over of the economic packages coincided with the launching of a 16-day activism to fight against gender-based violence on women and the girl child. The project also seeks to address specific needs of the women by empowering them to be able to stand up on their own, educate their children, and be self-reliant. On behalf of her common initiative group, Echo Suzanne Ugwe promised to put into good use the cassava mill donated to her association.
I want to thank the work, the serve and the young women for these wonderful things that they are giving to us. For this wonderful machine, because we have been suffering, carrying cassava from one place to the other to go and grind. I will do my best to take good care of this machine so that it will last for long.
The third phase of the project envisages handing over of legal documents such as birth certificates and ID cards to some 17 women.
At the third stage of this program, we are going to hand over legal documents to some of those women. We identify some within the communities who do not even have birth certificates. They do not have identification papers. So the project management unit, together with their partners, UN Women and SERF, decided to accompany these women to establish those certificates.
The theme for this year's 16 days of activism to fight against gender-based violence is Paint the World Orange, as chosen by Antonio Guterres, United Nations Secretary General.
That was Joy Ngong on that report. And now on to our cultural page. 5 chiefs of the newly revamped villages under the Muya Court area, Fako division of the Southwest region, have been coronated. Kuma Honore witnessed the coronation exercise and now completes this story thus.
Some 5 chiefs of newly revamped villages under Munyakot area have been coronated by a college of chiefs from Boya and Tiko Chiefs conferences. The coronation ritual, which took place on the ancestral land of the 5 villages, saw the coronation of Chief Nje Francis Enongene as traditional ruler of Muzu village, Chief Eko Efamba Stephen as the chief of Meze village, Chief Ngando Kinsley as chief of Mehe village, Chief Maliva Andreas as traditional ruler of Elimbi village, and Chief Paul Molua Donga of Lower Ewondo village. The coronation ritual was performed by a college of chiefs from the Tiko and Boya Chief conferences, as well as some chiefs from Munya Chief Conference. The coronation ceremony is a vital aspect for the enthronement of a chief according to the Bakure traditional rites, which officially initiates a chiefhood by his peers. Chief Ngando Kinsley, newly coronated chief of Mehe village, says the development of Mehe village is paramount as the opening up of major roads and streets in his village is ongoing. He used the opportunity to thank the administration for doing their best to see that the lost village has been revamped.
if you come for village now, you will see some, you realize some very big projects go out for village now. We try for break roads, where we don't get time for CM now. And we work hard too for same we put structures too, like other villages around. Mid-December, I would like make my villagers rally for village, who will feel celebrate together. Because it don't be quite a long time we will never sit together. Like this coronation really bring us together. So when they made it come back home.
On his part, the newly coronated chief of Lower Ewunda, Chief Paul Moluwatando, said it is a dream come to him and to his subjects, as it has been a long cry for them to be resettled in their ancestral land. He re-echoed his voice with that of the government to call on our brothers who took arms against the state to abandon the bushes and come back to their village, so that together they can find solutions to a common problem affecting them.
Which way they, I'll be very happy for the things where I don't follow up for my village, for revive my village. Today, they don't come to rain. I'll be very happy. I'll be very happy. And I call all my villagers when they come together, more join to see how we will bring our village back. May it come to be.
It is worth noting that for some time now, Fako Division has witnessed the revival of some extinct villages who migrated to other areas as a result of slave trade. The newly coronated chiefs are expected to spend the next 7 days in the traditional Nambanjo tent, where they will commune with their ancestors and undergo some spiritual empowerment to be able to rule their subjects with wisdom and integrity.
And in sports-related news, the official handover ceremony of the Olympic Football Stadium due for today, according to a communique by the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, Narcisse Mwele-Kombi, has been postponed. Given that work at the stadium has not been complete, the minister has stated that another date for the official handover will be communicated to the public in the days ahead. We now take you out of Cameroon, where we take you to South Africa straight away to update you on the new coronavirus variant Omicron, which has now become dominant in South Africa and is driving a sharp increase in new infection rates, as confirmed by health officials in that part of the world. Some 11,500 new COVID infections were registered in the latest daily figures. That is a sharp increase on the 8,500 cases confirmed as at yesterday. And by contrast, daily infections are said to be averaging between 200 to 300 in mid-November. And similarly, Zimbabwe has confirmed the presence of the Omicron variant in the country. Speaking on state television, Vice President and Health Minister Constantino Chiwenga said that it followed a genome sequencing but gave no further details. New COVID cases rose sharply this week, with 712 new cases being recorded on Wednesday and 399 on Tuesday. On Tuesday, the government reimposed curfews and mandatory testing and quarantines for travelers to prevent fourth wave. We now talk world news, where President Joe Biden has unveiled stricter COVID-19 travel rules on the U.S., has confirmed a handful of cases of the Omicron variant from coast to coast. Mr. Biden said his plan doesn't include shutdowns or lockdowns and does not expand vaccine mandates. So far, cases have been detected in California, Colorado, Minnesota, New York, and in Hawaii, where authorities say that persons had no recent travel history. Let's end this week's edition of Prime Flash with a story still in the U.S., where the country's Congress has passed a stopgap bill to fund federal agencies until February 18th. This, they say, is geared towards avoiding a costly government shutdown over the festive season. In a 69 to 28 vote, the Senate backed the measure approved earlier by the House of Representatives, as President Joe Biden is expected to sign it into law. With that, we've come to the end of Prime Flash. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for your keen attention. I have been Dolly Ngonde for presentation. The news was produced by Ngwa, Desmond. General coordination came from Faith Tata, and of course, general supervision from Kum Leonard. Up next is In the House with Eileen Sama. Stay glued for more interesting programs only on the African Eye.
Welcome to a new world of TV broadcasting. My Major Prime.